you're starting uni again this year and you're feeling super overwhelmed, you're starting final year, you're a bit like, oh, how am I going to get my dissertation done? How am I going to get all my societies and literally everything in one? I'm here to show you how. So a lot of people would use a paper planner or notebooks, but I concluded that because I was on my laptop all day, every day doing uni work, it made the most sense to have something digital. So obviously Google Calendar was the answer. When is Google Calendar not the answer? So it's best if you start from complete scratch, a blank calendar, nothing scheduled, so you can really look at what time you have and really construct a schedule that works for you. It's blank and you don't know what to do and you're like, I have so many things to schedule and it's a lot. But it's fine, we're going to break it up into sections. So there's around 8 different types of what I would call calendars. On the side column, you can actually add in additional calendars, which means you can actually switch on and off calendars and view, say, your uni timetable or workout schedule individually, or you can view it all as a collective. So the 8 categories that I used was my university timetable. Then you have any additional time working on your modules, so doing assignments, clubs and societies you go to, anything that you do as extracurricular. Add in your eating times. I think this is a really good way to make sure you're eating 3 times a day. Eating, very important for survival, we need it. The next calendar I would say is rest. So if you want to, you could have rest as eating and rest if you want, or you could separate them. And then obviously a social calendar, hanging out with your friends, going out clubbing, seeing your family, anything that's like people. If you have a part-time job, have another calendar for that so you can add in your shift times. This isn't for everyone, but add in exercise time. Step 1 is add in your university calendar. You'll be able to find this at start of term and you should put it in your calendar straight away. Make sure you check each week. As for me, I had a different timetable every week, so I had to go through for the whole term. It's a long job, but once you know what your lectures are, you're not going to miss any. Next, I would add in your eating times. So if you have lectures over a lunch period, when are you going to have your lunch? I put in 1 hour every day for lunch and 1 hour every day for dinner. That might be too much for some people, maybe they only need half an hour, but I like to cook or really have a restful hour or lunch break. You have to make sure you're making time to eat, as eating literally helps you function. And like, how can you study if you're hungry or hangry, which I can get? So I would definitely put this in. And some people might think this is unnecessary or just like it's obvious, but I found it really helpful to see and know that I'd put in time to have lunch. Next, I would add in any time that you want to spend to work on your modules. So universities generally give you like a rough outline of how many hours you should be spending per module. I think it's too much, personally. I didn't spend the amount of hours that they suggested on each module every week. I just did the tasks and that was all. In final year, I was working from roughly 10 to 4 every day doing uni work, which basically meant that I knew I was getting something done every day. But obviously this might be different for different people. If you're a really late night worker, you might want to schedule in a sesh till 2 a.m. By all means, go ahead, whatever works for you. Make sure you do set aside time for assignments, because once you have all your extra social events and clubs and everything, you'll forget to do your uni work. I know you're at university to do university work, but it's very easy to forget that you have actual assignments that need doing. Also, I tried to keep my weekends free, especially in final year, because I knew that otherwise I would completely burn out. But again, if you're someone that works on weekends and is okay with that, that's totally fine. But for me, that really worked, and putting in the hours during the week meant that I could have time on the weekend to see my friends and relax and recharge for the next week. Adding in time for rest and chilling, I swore by it in final year. I used to have a slot which was between 4 and 6, which was basically after I'd done uni work for the day and before dinner, where I would just literally write chill in my calendar, and that would be whatever I felt like doing that day, whether that's reading or watching YouTube videos or TV or just literally nothing. nothing of importance, or just like cleaning my room, or just doing like little life admin-y things that aren't super high brain power. This would vary, obviously, like towards the end of the year I was cutting down on this time to do more uni work so I could beat my deadlines, but I made sure to have at least an hour a day where I scheduled to do nothing. It actually really helped in keeping me recharged and focused and concentrated on my work, because I knew that I had time set aside for later where I could rest and relax. In terms of like choosing when this time should be for you, I would figure out what time of the day your brain is like really tired. For some people this might be like first thing in the morning, or in the evenings, but for me that was hit 4 o'clock, my brain just shuts off. So I was like, right, okay, instead of trying to force myself to work during that time, I may as well like play into the fact that I'm tired and just use that time to relax. I would also suggest having at least like one evening a week where you just don't schedule anything in, just because it's so easy to burn out, especially in final year. Maybe you're a super extrovert and like you want to spend loads of time with people every evening, but I would try and set aside time for yourself one evening just to like have some me time. Then I would add in like social things. So I wouldn't really plan this in advance, other than the fact like me and my housemates would do like a house meal on a Tuesday evening, which was like every week we did that. So that was like, okay, that's social time. But obviously you don't plan your social time months in advance. So that's the sort of thing I would just fill in the gaps with as and when people were free, and whether I'd meet people for lunch or people come around for dinner or we'd go out to the pub, like anything like that. I would just make that quite ad hoc, and that was like the main ad hoc thing on my calendar. You kind of have to do that because everyone's schedule is so different, so having time to socialise is like, you can't really plan that in advance. You kind of have to just go as and when. Make sure you stick to your schedule and don't move your schedule to meet people. You definitely will be able to find time to meet friends, whether that's in the evenings or at lunchtimes. It was always good to meet friends in the library cafe at lunchtime, especially during final year. Everyone's in the library, so it's just like a nice way to have a break and catch up with friends. I found that having a consistent schedule, the Tuesdays every week, was really helpful, because it meant that all of our friend group knew that that was the social time that we all hung out, and so everyone always put it aside to spend time with one another, and that's so important during final year because it's so easy to isolate yourself. It just meant that although everyone's schedules were super hectic, we committed to doing at least one evening. So if you do have a job alongside uni, you may want to add in your shift times before some of these things. So I actually worked for the university for a period of time doing like student ambassador work, and you could pick your shifts. So I would choose shifts in the time that I wasn't doing anything else. Obviously this isn't feasible for everyone, like some people need to work to afford rent and things like that. So you maybe would put your job at a higher position in the way you sort out your calendar. And then lastly, I would add in any exercise. So this could be going to the gym, swimming, running, exercise classes, or this could go like under your clubs and societies, like if you're in a sports team. But obviously if you're not that sporty, I would still recommend like getting out and about, going for a walk, exploring the city, maybe when you meet up with a friend, making it a chatty walk, just to keep your body moving, because especially when you're at uni, there's a lot of being sat in the library on your laptop like this, so it's really good to make sure you get out. So at this point your calendar's looking pretty chock-a-block, but because you've got time to rest and time to relax, once you get into the routine of it, it won't feel super intense. I know that Google Calendar, when you use time management tools like that, it can be super overwhelming and look like chaotic, but actually once you get in the flow of it, it can be really good. And like if you have loads of elements of uni life that you need to like attend to, then this is the best way to do that. That's my advice on how to schedule your time at uni. I'm going to make another video about how I organised like actual uni assignments and to-do lists and kept on top of things, so subscribe if you want to see that video. I've obviously finished uni now, so I want to pass on this knowledge and advice because I just feel like, what else am I going to do with it? Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know what your technique is for organising your time at uni or just in life in general, and yeah, see you soon.